My name is Aaliyah, and today I will be discussing one of the world's fastest growing health concerns, myopia. What really is myopia? Myopia, also known as nearsightedness, is a condition caused by abnormalities in the shape of the eye. It causes distant objects to appear blurry and closer objects to be seen clearly. As of 2020, 34% of the population globally is myopic, and it is estimated that by 2050, 50% of the world's population will develop myopia. There are two main types of myopia, axial and refractive myopia. To understand them, we first need to know the features of a properly functioning eye. In a normally functioning eye, the shape of the eyeball is spherical. This allows light to focus directly into the retina, which is a layer at the back of the eye that contains cells which are light sensitive and form visual images. Myopic eyes, on the other hand, are irregularly shaped, so light focuses in front of the retina instead of within it. This is what causes objects to seem unclear from a distance. Axial myopia is caused by the elongation of the eyeball, and refractive myopia is caused by the curvature of the cornea. They both result in light being unable to focus properly in the retina, resulting in difficulty with vision from long distances. This leads to the question, what is the main cause of myopia? Myopia is caused by a combination of two factors, genetics and the environment. There are 200 genes that control eye structure and growth in humans. This means genes play a huge role in developing myopia. Two studies were conducted to assess how greatly myopia is determined by genetics. The first study compared myopia in identical twins and fraternal twins. This proved that identical twins were more likely to both have myopia than fraternal twins with unidentical DNA. The second study compared myopia in parents and their children. This study showed that children with myopic parents were born with longer eyes. This structural difference makes these children more likely to develop myopia later in their lives. Finally, the role of genetics can be proven by comparing the prevalence of myopia across different ethnic groups. In Africa, the prevalence of myopia is between 10 to 20% of the population. In Europe and America, it is between 30 to 40%, and finally, in Asia, it is between 70 to 90%. Despite genetics playing a crucial part in the development of myopia, it could be argued that the environment plays an even greater role. Over the past 20 years, global culture has changed significantly and all aspects of our daily lives include screens. Therefore, the number of cases of myopia has skyrocketed. Studies have shown that excessive near work such as reading, writing and using screens strains the eyeballs which elongates them. In addition, experiments have been conducted on young primates. They were made to wear translucent goggles to place a strain on their eyes. This caused their initially normal, non-myopic eyeballs to elongate and for them to gain myopia. This proves that although genetics does play a significant role, the environment can have a greater impact. The environment can also work to reduce myopia. Being outdoors can prevent myopia as the sunlight regulates eye growth by stimulating dopamine production in the retina, slowing down abnormal eye elongation. A key case study depicting the severe effects of these factors is the rise of myopia in East Asia. In East Asian countries, the combination of genetics and the environment has caused around 90% of young adults to have myopia. How is myopia affecting the future generation? When babies are born, they are hyperopic. This means they can see objects from a distance clearly, and those close by are blurry. As they grow, their eyes elongate, so they eventually become emmetropic. This means they have normal eyesight. Due to a series of genetic and environmental factors, when they are at age 4 to 5, they are at risk of becoming myopic. This is becoming a growing issue due to our drastic change in culture. For example, in the UK, 67% of children regularly use a tablet or iPhone, specifically at an age when their eyes are developing and near work has a crucial effect on them becoming myopic. This contributes to the growing myopic population. Other factors that increase the probability of children becoming myopic include height. Taller children are more susceptible to gaining myopia due to the growth spurts also affecting their eyes. Little time spent outdoors. It is proven that spending around 2 to 3 hours outdoors every day can help to prevent myopia. Finally, being prescribed the wrong glasses. If the prescription of glasses overcorrects for the level of myopia a child has, it can induce more myopia. What are the risks of having myopia? Having myopia can increase the likelihood of developing other more serious eye conditions, including macular degeneration, retinal detachment, and glaucoma, which can lead to blindness. It is also important to note that there is no cure for myopia. There are multiple methods to reduce the progression of myopia and remove the refractive errors, for example with laser eye surgery. However, these options should not be seen as cures, as they cannot reverse structural damage to the eyes, and they cannot prevent the risk of developing other eye conditions. Having myopia can affect a person's daily life, causing problems when driving, especially at night. It may cause headaches, hinder academic achievement, sports performance, and even the ability to recognise faces on the street. A patient with myopia will now explain how it affects her life.
Hello, my name's Grace. I'm a biology technician at the school and I have myopia. It's about 4.5 minus 4.5, so it's quite strong. If I take my glasses off, everything's blurry.
How does having myopia affect your day-to-day life?
Well, I can't live without my glasses. I'm always frightened that I'm going to break them. I always have a spare pair in my bag, and especially if I'm driving. And I remember once taking this off while I was driving and it knocked my glasses, oh my goodness. And I can't go swimming. Yes. And I have contact lenses, but they make my eyes dry. And then if I have contact lenses, I can't read and I have to have reading glasses. But with glasses, I can actually take them off and read because I can read that. But everything else is a blur. So I can't live without glasses.
Do you have any children that suffer with myopia?
Yes, my daughter. My son doesn't, he's fine, but my daughter does. She's very similar to me. She looks like me. Because I started getting short-sighted about her age, when she was about 16, whatever. I started wearing glasses and so did she. But as the years have gone by, my eyesight's got worse and so has hers, but she's only 26 now. But yeah, so our eyesight is going parallel. Yeah.
An optometrist will now explain the ways to prevent myopia.
Hi, my name is Ilya. I'm an optometrist here at Specsavers St Albans. I've been qualified for about a year.
Are there any trends in the type of patients that have myopia?
Yes, we're seeing more and more young children, so from about age 5 upwards, coming up with myopia. And typically once you start to hit around the age of 40, that myopia starts to reduce and get a little bit better.
What course of action is taken to help prevent myopia from worsening in children?
So there is now some new technology out called myopia management. This is either in the form of glasses or contact lenses a child wears full time. With the contact lenses, you have the choice of either hard contact lenses, in which the child wears the lenses overnight. They reshape the cornea, so the next day they're able to see without any glasses, and it's a process they do every evening. With the soft contact lenses or the glasses, they wear them full time up until the age of 18, and it's proven to help slow the rate of the myopia progression by about 50%. Although this doesn't work with everyone, it's one of the many technologies being developed nowadays in order to help and advance in terms of treating myopia, or at least managing it.
What is the worst case of myopia you have seen, and how did it affect the patient?
So I'll tell you about 2 different cases. The very worst case of myopia was about prescription of minus 14. That patient was just generally struggling with their everyday life. The glasses that they had were very, very thick and they were struggling in terms of the weight of them. And the second one wasn't as big of a prescription, but it was a child around the age of 6 or 7, with a prescription of minus 8, which is quite a large prescription for quite a small child. Again, they'd struggle a little bit more with children. They sometimes don't like to wear glasses, so every time she'd take her glasses off, she'd get a headache, she wouldn't be able to see, she'd bump into things, and she'd just struggle with the everyday life when she wasn't wearing her glasses. Even when the glasses or contact lenses were worn, she found them to be quite thick or a little bit heavy in terms of the glasses. Contact lenses did not give her 100% visual clarity because the prescription was quite high.
How significant of a public health issue has myopia become?
Myopia is increasingly becoming more and more of a public health issue. Because it's something that can be managed, it's not a huge risk, but I'd say it's definitely up and coming, especially with younger children and the use of screens.
As we have seen, there are multiple ways to correct myopia, allowing those diagnosed with it to live somewhat normal lives. However, across the world, eye care is not readily available for those in critical need of it. The World Health Organization reports that there are 1 billion out of 2.2 billion people worldwide who suffer from vision impairment that are unable to access the care they need for conditions including myopia. It is said that 65 million people are blind or have impaired sight when their vision could have been corrected overnight with a simple operation. To combat this, the charity Vision Spring was formed. Vision Spring has had a great impact on preventing vision impairment worldwide. In 2024 alone, they distributed 2.1 million glasses supporting the livelihoods of truck drivers, tea workers, garment manufacturers, and school children in particular across sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia. The founding story of Vision Spring perfectly encapsulates the impact of receiving eye care. The founder, Jordan Castillo, describes how while volunteering in the Yucatan Peninsula, he came across a 7-year-old boy who had been believed to be blind since birth. Throughout this boy's life, he had no access to healthcare and was forced to learn to read in Braille. Upon examining this boy, he realised that he indeed was not blind. Instead, he was severely myopic. This meant all he needed was a strong pair of glasses. He describes how, by receiving these glasses, the boy's life had been completely turned around, and he now had the ability to achieve anything he wanted. To conclude, although there is not yet a clear cure for myopia, there are very effective methods to correct it, and very promising measures in place to prevent the progression of it. With the education behind the causes reaching more people, as a worldwide community, we can work to reduce the global levels of myopia. I hope this short film has raised your awareness and inspired you to stay informed about the future developments of myopia. Thanks for watching my EPQ by Aliyah Ali.